Well, what's going on, everybody? Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. We are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Yes, we are. Just doing a little update here. We're going to talk about BCH BTC and just BCH USD. This is at the request of AB. AB, we are doing this for you, my friend. Let's see here. Yeah, let's look at the weekly. Bump it out to the weekly. So yes, we're still above 500. We dropped a little bit, right, but not that much, and that's to be expected, right? Yesterday I was saying we'd pull back a little bit. I mean, we could go to about 465, maybe even 450 at the lowest, but we could just as easily stop at about 490, 495 as well. Still at 507, you guys. It was a very big accomplishment to close above the $500 area. If we get below it, I'm not worried. I'm not concerned about it at all. I mean, if we stay above it, great. That's just more bullish looking, but it does look like we got the red day that I was calling for. We did get this rejected look on the RSI. It is possible that we could bounce. You know, if we go down to the 60, we could bounce right there, which would imply a much smaller drop. Or we could go down to the 50 and bounce there, or perhaps even all the way down to the 40 and bounce there. You know, either any and all of those will be totally adequate. I doubt we'd go to the oversold zone. It's possible, but I doubt it. Nonetheless, I do think we're going to continue to work our way down over the coming days. If I'm wrong and we work our way up, great. I would love to be wrong. I would love to see my bags and your bags pump from the relative high to low. We broke above the 382. It's not completely uncommon when you break above the 382 on your first attempt, and this is the first attempt after the anchor point, to actually consolidate above it, right? So we might hold the $500 line. We might not go that much lower at all. Oh man, hold on. Oh, there we go. I get this like tension in the back of my neck, man. That's the best way to relieve it. But maybe we do just play around in this zone for the next week or so. Maybe 2 days from now or today we break up to 574 or $600. Who knows? But inevitably the next target zone would be, in my opinion, 574 to $600. This is the next target area, and more specifically that $600 area in my opinion. We could just as likely as well, you know, instead of consolidating here, it's not too uncommon to go back to your 236 either, and that does put, you know, 460, or at least around that area, 460, 455 on the map as well. So just be prepared. You know, if we drop, it's not going to be by much. It will be a higher low. That's my expectation, at least. Of course, anything could happen. We could go lower. Yes, those prices at like 380 to 350 are still on the table. They're just not likely. And personally, I'm not considering them. I don't consider them as likely. If you're holding your breath on that, you're going to have to keep holding your breath. I know, and I'm not trying to poke fun or make fun of anybody or hurt anybody's feelings. I feel for you guys. The people I'm about to talk about, I feel for you. But I know that there are a lot of you who sold down here in anticipation of lower prices. And I feel like I was vocal, maybe not in my most recent videos, maybe not over here, but I feel like I was vocal about not selling. The time to sell is up here, guys, right? Like down here, it's not a good time to sell. It's not a bad thing. It is a bad thing that you sold, but it's not a bad thing in a certain regard, being that if you sold down here, you've learned a valuable lesson, which is that instead of trying to play the move that is from let's say you sold it right here at like, what is that? Like 450. Let's say you sold at 450 and you were planning to catch a move down here to like 370, right? Instead of trying to play, my goodness, I can't draw lines. Instead of trying to play this move, right? Next time try to play the whole move. And if you can't play, you see the difference, right? In like the amount of potential that you have there. If you can't play that, if you've missed the majority of it and you're already down here, it's not worth that little extra bit. It really isn't, because as confident at the time as I was that prices were going to go down there, and I was very confident. I'm surprised still that we didn't go below the green line. This is actually a really bullish testament to Bitcoin Cash, if anything. And it is still possible to go below it. If we go below it, that doesn't make it bearish. That just, you know, means that we had a little bull trap and, you know, we're going down. But that's okay. It'd still be relatively higher highs, or higher lows. But let it be a lesson. Don't let your losses just be losses. Let them be lessons, right? If you're feeling that gut wrenching, that kind of gut punch, you feel sick to your stomach, or just like, oh, like I made a bad move. Was it worth it to play from this area, literally like the low area, which you didn't know was the low area at the time, assuming that it was going to go lower? It might have seemed smart, but was it worth it to play for this little bit here, this little stick, whenever really the whole stick could have been like this, right? Oops, that was bigger than I meant for it to be. I don't know why it does that. It always like takes a little dip at the end when I draw big lines. You see the difference, right? You missed it. You missed most of it. So why play the game when you've missed most of it, right? If you were thinking about selling here and then it comes all the way down here, even if it went lower, you shouldn't sell. You shouldn't sell down here. I don't know. I'm making a point, and I really hope that nobody's offended by that. And yes, I myself was calling for lower prices. I've been calling for lower prices since we were above $600, you guys. I've been calling for prices down here since we were at $600, right? And I didn't sell. Bitcoin Cash is my biggest bag. I'm not going to sell because I know that I can be wrong, and I know that what I want to do with this money, everybody's different. So I'm assuming that most of us, what we want to do with our money when we put it into Bitcoin Cash, we want to use it to change our lives. We want to use it to grow our financial total value, right? Our total net worth. And you're not going to do that playing these short sticks, right? If you catch the big sticks, cool, that's great. But at the same time, there's risk in that. Why sell even at 720? Why sell at 1,000? Even if it were to move all the way back down to like 600, why play this game whenever we have so much more ahead of us? When we have thousands, tens of thousands of dollars by the end of this cycle, you know. And again, no hate to anybody. I hope I'm not hurting anybody's feelings. I don't think I am. A lot of you guys you're big boys, you're big girls. You know how it is. You can own the fact that you made the wrong decision, right? And I made the wrong decision. I made the wrong call myself. The TA was accurate, the TA was good, but the outcome was not, right? It wasn't the same. There's a lot suggesting that we would go lower. It made sense to me, but hey, up we go. It looks good. Daily RSI looks great. We're probably going to pull back here. On the bright side, for anybody that sold down here, you're not going to be able to buy up here, but maybe you do get a chance to buy like a little bit. Instead of buying at $530, maybe you get to buy at $460. Maybe it's $490. Maybe it's only at $500. We'll see. As time goes on, if the days go on and we don't really move, if we're like here for like 3 or 5 days, just not really moving down or up, likely we're not going to move lower. Likely we will hold that $500 area. So, there are second chances, but it just might come at the cost of getting in at a higher price, unfortunately. But my biggest recommendation, and I'm not a financial advisor, none of this is financial advice, but this is what I would do. If I played the game and I lost, right, and it didn't go down, it went up, and I bought up here, let's say I bought back because I was feeling the FOMO. If inevitably it did go down, I sure as shit would not sell down here. I sure as shit would not sell at any point of this. I'd be like, damn, not only did I play it wrong once, I played it wrong twice, but this time I'm not going to complete the circle. I'm not going to sell at a loss. I'm going to wait because we all know Bitcoin Cash has tremendously higher price targets in mind. Whether you're one of those pessimistically bullish people who thinks Bitcoin Cash is only going to go to 2 to 4K this cycle or not, we can all agree, and I think it's going to 20K or more, right? But I'm just saying there are a lot of you who hit the comments saying it's not going to 20K. You're ridiculous. It's only going to that's unfathomable. Whenever Bitcoin literally made the exact same move in 2017, and BCH is already literally more bullish than that BTC cycle, saying that it's impossible, that it's nonsense for prices to be seen at tens of thousands of dollars by the end of the cycle, when we've seen it happen before. Not in the BCH fork, but in BTC itself, before the hard fork happened, which BTC and BCH, they were the same before August of 2017. They were the same. So if we've seen it in BTC, why can't we see it in its twin brother, like literally, or twin sister? I don't know. It could be a girl. I don't know. It's got a nice soft bottom here. That's not exclusive to females though. There are guys with soft bottoms. I wouldn't know. I've heard this from professionals. Anyways, what I'm trying to get at, guys, is if you played the game wrong and you buy up here and you have to buy back for a loss or like buy back higher than you sold, don't complete the cycle if inevitably it is proven right? And I don't think it will be. I do think that we're going to move higher. I think that if anything, we'll move down to 460, 465 at the lowest, maybe 470, 480, and then continue to work our way up to that $600 area, and then we'll go from there. I mean, inevitably, yes, I do believe we're on our way to higher prices, but just try to be patient, right? This, I think, again, what I was saying before I got all silly there is that no matter who you are, whether you think Bitcoin Cash is topping off here or you're with me and you think it's topping off up here, it's not worth playing the game here, right? It really isn't worth this little divot is nothing compared to what we have ahead of us. Even if it is only 4 to 5K or 2 to 5K, whatever, it's not worth playing the game right now. So just hold, right? Buy and hold. Everything that I'm doing as far as Bitcoin Cash goes, I'm just buying and holding. And I'm not a financial advisor. None of that's financial advice, but if it could be, it should be, because it's a foolproof way to not get wrecked. Because you playing the short-term game, man, you never know. You truly never know. You can have all the right things. TA is not perfect. You can have all the right things in TA suggesting, all the indicators saying it's going down, but that doesn't mean anything, because in reality, that can be true. All the indicators can say it's going down. The sentiment can be bearish. It can all say it's going down, and for whatever reason, you just go up. And the reason probably is because the sentiment is bearish. Markets do. Eric Crown from Crown's Crypto, shout out to Eric Crown. You guys should check him out if you haven't. He's a very talented trader, in my opinion. He always said, or he used to say often, that markets take most of the money from most people most of the time, or something like that is what he said. I believe it's something like that. I might be botching it a little bit there, but that's kind of the goal. So it doesn't matter how strong the technicals look on certain things at certain times. Whenever the sentiment is extremely bearish, which I feel like, maybe it wasn't extremely bearish, but just there are times where it can be. That's oftentimes where even if the sentiment is bearish and the indicators are extremely bearish, you'll go up just because markets are made to take money from you, right? Most people lose in this game, and that's what. If most people lose in the game, especially if you're new in this game and you're inexperienced, or even if you have like 3 years of experience or less, 5 years of experience or less, it's probably not worth playing the game. You can avoid losing playing the game by just not playing it. Just buy and hold. Just buy and hold. But anyways, enough of the motivational talks. Let's get on to BCH BTC here. Yeah, I'm pretty convinced that that's the low, you guys. I was a little skeptical in my last BCH BTC video. I did think that we'd go lower, but you guys, I think that's our low. I think we are working our way up. We are going to check in on this chart more regularly, because we are about to do some phenomenal things. We're about to set our first higher low, higher high, and I really want to catch that as soon as possible. But what it looks like we're doing here, it depends on what we do over the next 5 days or so. But if we can confirm this week, if we can close it green, we're only down less than 1% right now versus Bitcoin. If we can close it green, that would be phenomenal. That'd be really great to see, because we get it'd be a confirmation of this bounce off the 50, and that would just be awesome, because at that point, I think it's undeniable that we're about to set a higher high, our first higher low, higher high scenario that we've ever seen for Bitcoin. And what was cool is that Bitcoin Cash went down yesterday, but it actually increased versus BTC. So BTC went down more than Bitcoin Cash. That's not common. Most cryptos, when Bitcoin goes down, whenever Bitcoin goes down, the altcoins go down more. But Bitcoin Cash actually went up versus Bitcoin yesterday, even though they both dropped in price. And while, yes, it does look like we're at this resistance point, look at the difference, right? Tipped it, hugging it. We're hugging it right now. So I do think we're going to change the trend here. Even if we go lower from here immediately, I don't think we're going lower than that low. So I got nothing else to say. This wasn't so much TA in this video as it was just like a heavy reminder that, and to each their own. Play the game if you want to. It's okay if you play the game if you're hedging your bets in other places. If you're someone who's putting your life savings in this money, or this is money that you're hoping will change your life financially, right? That you're investing into this. Why play the game with that, right? Why would you do that, right? You wouldn't take your life savings and put it on a bet on like the horse track or gambling or whatever, even if you had an edge, even if you had like insider information on which horse is going to do better or whatever. You wouldn't do that with your life savings. You might do that with like money that is significant to you or whatever, but not your life savings, right? If this is money that's your life savings, and I'm not saying it's all of your life savings with it, but if it's like money that you're planning on growing into something significant, why play the game? Why play the game? And for a lot of new people, I know I'm falling on deaf ears, because I was there, man. I've been in tech. I've been doing this for over 7 years now. I know what it's like to assume that you're smarter than the market. You can make it back, right? You mess up this one time, you might crawl away and just like go to sleep for a little bit. You might forget about it, and then the next dump comes along, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna make up for this last one. Like, just get out of that mindset. If you have a loss, accept it as a loss. Like, truly accept it as a loss. You'll be better for it. You won't be in this emotional phase where you feel like you have to make things back. When you're down and you feel like you have to make it back, you thought it was bad before, dude. You thought it was bad whenever you made the decision wrong the first time. If you are down and you feel like you have to make it back, this is your chance to make it back. You know how to do it, or like that, that's when you're really screwed. That's when you'll make dumb decisions. So it's easier if you just buy and you hold and you let it do its thing. Whether it goes up, whether it goes down, who cares? Because in a year's time it's going to be higher. So anyways, guys, that's all I got for you. If you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe to see more. Bitcoin Cash probably comes down over the coming days. If anything, if it doesn't come down, it'll probably consolidate. But we're looking for prices around 460 to 495, I suppose. But I'm leaning more to that 460, 475 area. But we also could hold 500 and consolidate. Either way, I'm not expecting higher prices anytime, like immediately soon. Relatively soon, sure. Over the coming weeks, sure. But over the coming days, not so much. So take care. Hit that like button. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.